the neighborhood board. First up on our agenda is our election of officers and confirmation of board details. So the first seat, and this will cover from our term from today, or back from July 1st to June 30th of 2025. Sylvia, did you have a question? Or, I mean, we kind of do this every year.
You said the first item on the agenda is the elections.
Well, that's what I was referring to. I'm sorry. Did I not make that clear?
I'm over here on item number 1A. I'd like to nominate Patrick Smith.
Okay. I was getting there. So we'll move on to that. Are there
we can move on. Okay.
Are there any nominations for chair? We have one, and I'll accept. Do we have any other nominations for chair? Hearing none.
I second.
Thank you. Rachel, do we demand a voice vote on each of these? Rachel?
All right, let me bring the mic to me. Okay, so we're actually gonna have to do a roll call vote, and then we have to do the name calling.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. So, when I say your name, if you would just go yes, no, or abstain. So, going in order, Jill.
Sorry, Pat.
Yeah.
They actually have to say the name of the person.
Oh, okay.
Even though it's only one person. Thank you.
So you can say Patrick's fine unless you want to put someone else in there. Jill Easley.
Wait, excuse me, but
Yes.
since we don't have any other nominees for that position, can't we say Patrick is nominated, if there's no objections?
Technically, according to the plan, there is a very specific procedure. I know it's a pain. Hopefully, we can change that, but it does say, as I recall, you do have to say the name. I know it's kind of time consuming, but hopefully we can get through this pretty quickly. So, Jill.
Having said that, I vote for Patrick.
Thank you, Megan. Audrey. Paula.
Patrick.
Ray G.
I vote for you, Patrick.
Thank you. Sylvia.
I vote for you, Patrick.
Thank you. Adrienne. Mason. Mason, you're muted. You're still muted, Mason. Patrick, does that survive? There you go. Mason. Okay, well, we'll come back to you. How about that? Philip.
Patrick.
Thank you. Mike.
Yes, for Patrick.
Kampuni. Rachel, was that 8? And I'll vote for myself.
Oh, Patrick, you forgot me.
Oh, sorry, Kathy.
Yep, I vote for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, was that sufficient, Rachel?
I have 9.
Okay. Well, so everyone voted, so if we have 9, then that should suffice. So we can move on. Thank you, everybody. Next up, we have vice chair. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
Patrick.
Mason,
Can't hear me now?
Did you have someone? Yes. Well, we heard you for a moment. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
And you know what? I don't know if it would cause any problems, but I would vote for, I would like, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
I would nominate Ray G.
Okay. Well, Ray G, would you be willing to do it?
Oh, if nobody wants to do it, I guess. Sure. I
Okay.
second.
Thank you. And I'll second that too. So, do we have any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations. So let me go through the roll very quickly and just say yes or say the name, please. So, Kathy, you're muted, Kathy.
Yes.
Ray G? You wanted to say Ray G?
Yes, Ray G.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're supposed to say the name. Jill.
Okay. got it.
G.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Jill. I didn't hear you. Jill?
Ray G.
Thank you. Megan. I don't think she was here. Audrey. I don't think she was here. Paula.
Ray G.
Okay. Ray G. Ray?
Okay.
You just say Ray.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Sylvia.
Ray G.
Adrian. I don't think she was here. Mason. Mason, it shows that you're supposed to be speaking, but we can't hear you. So we'll come back to you if need be. Philip.
Ray G.
Thank you. Mike.
Yes,
you hear
for,
me?
yes for Ray G.
Thank you. Yeah, Mason, go ahead. Well, we heard you for a moment, but yeah. Who do we have on there? Kapuni? Yeah, I don't think they're on here. So, is that enough, Rachel, or did we have 8 or 9? I didn't count them out. Sorry.
So you're voting for Ray G also as well, right?
Yeah, did I miss anybody? Yeah, so we had that should be 8 or 9, correct?
Sorry, I didn't realize I mute myself. So right now I have 9. Did Audrey vote though?
No, I didn't hear Audrey.
Oh, okay.
I
She's
heard
not
Okay.
there,
Audrey.
is she?
She
Audrey's not in
on, but
person, is she?
just have her on mute though.
Okay. All right. So next up we have our secretary position. Do I have any nominations for secretary? Mike? Do I have any nominations?
Who's our secretary right now?
Mike Lum.
Mike, right?
Mike.
So I nominate Mike Lum.
Mike? Is it okay?
That's okay, yes.
Okay, great. Do I have
I
any
don't,
other?
I don't know why you're asking me to nominate myself there, but
Oh, well, I guess I'm sorry. I meant, are you interested?
Yes.
Yeah, that did take it that way. So sorry. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to the vote. So we'll go very quickly. Hopefully, Kathy,
Yes, Mike.
Jill,
Yes, Mike.
Megan, Audrey. I don't think we had on Paula,
Gladly, Michael.
Ray,
Yes, Mike.
Sylvia.
Of course, Michael.
Okay, I say Michael. Mason.
Mike.
All right, we got you this time, Mason. Good. Philip.
Mike.
Mike.
yes for Mike.
Okay. And I'll say yes. I don't know if I said that. I think Kaapuni's not on. So did I miss anybody? Hearing none, that should be sufficient. I assume that's 8 or 9 or 10.
Yes, I have 9.
Great. Congratulations, Mike. Okay, last up we have our treasurer. We do have to fill it. It's really actually just kind of ceremonial. So would anybody want to nominate or be willing to serve in that position? Treasurer? There's really not much to do.
I'll nominate somebody.
Okay, go ahead.
How about Philip?
Philip, would you accept? You're muted. Okay,
Yes.
good.
I
Are there any
second.
other nominations? Hearing none, we're proceed to our vote. Kathy?
Yes, Mike, on that.
Philip?
Yes, Philip.
Thank you. Jill?
Yes, Philip.
Well, Audrey, I don't think it was on. Paula?
Yes, Philip.
Okay, Ray?
Yes.
You gotta say Philip.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Philip.
Sylvia?
Philip,
Adrian's off. Mason?
Yes, Philip.
Mike?
Yes for Philip.
Kyle Pooney's off, and I'll vote for Philip also, so that should do it.
Patrick, this is Audrey. I'm Philip. Patrick.
Thank you, Audrey. Yeah, we got you. Thank you. So will you be added? So that should do it for our officers. Does anyone have any recommendations to provide to add another officer position? Hearing none, we can move on. If it's suitable for everybody, why don't we move the meeting time and the other discussion to our business, and that way we can allow our emergency, our first responders to go on. If I don't hear any objection, let's do that. Okay, so first up, we have the Honolulu Fire Department. Firefighter.
Good evening. My name is Firefighter McKee from the Nuʻuanu Fire Station. For the month of June, we've had 2 structure fires, 0 wildland brush fires, 3 nuisance fires, 1 cooking fire, 8 activated alarms, 61 medical emergencies, 0 motor vehicle collisions with pedestrians. We had 1 motor vehicle crash, 7 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues, and 1 hazardous material incident. The safety tip for this month is going to be heat safety. So Hawaii has some of the highest average annual relative humidity in the country. When it is too humid, our bodies have a harder time cooling down, which can lead to heat-related illnesses. In the past decade in Hawaii, the average number of hot and humid days and very warm nights have more than doubled due to climate change and are expected to increase. Visit www.resilientoahu.org/subscribe to sign up for updates on heat in Hawaii this summer, and make sure you're prepared for the heat. And ways we can do that is to keep cool with fans or ACs, stay in shade, wear light and loose fitting clothing, make sure we drink plenty of water, stay out of the sun, wear hats outdoors or take an umbrella, and then make sure we check in on our neighbors and high-risk related illnesses. And then for more resources about heat illnesses, extreme heat, and how to prepare, visit www.heat.gov. That is all I got. Is there any questions?
Yeah, thank you. Any questions from the board for the firefighter? Paula.
I don't know if the other lady is on. Ms. Kathy Chalk.
You know, Mason, I think we might be getting some feedback through your line. Can you mute yourself, Mason? Thank you. Go ahead, Paula. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if Kathy Chalk is on at this point.
I don't know.
Kathy, are you on? I will report for her then. A call came in tonight in which the house that caught on fire on Kamaina Place is now spewing stuff all over the neighborhood, especially across the street into the neighbors' yards, etc. Because it's burn material and it has things out in the front of it. We want to know if the fire department is the one to come and clean up some of this stuff, not like Maui, which they had done chemicals, etc. But we're worried about pollution in that area on Kamaina at Kamaina Place. Big burn.
So typically we don't do removal of fire-related debris, but that is something that we can follow up with definitely and get back to you on that.
Okay, presently the family is on a plane to go somewhere and they are not following through as far as As far as I'm third party here. As far as what's going on, I think somebody better look at what's being blown around up there. And it looks like it might be some pollution. I'm not sure. I'm third party, so just to keep you folks informed.
Okay, we'll take a note of that.
It's 4 o'clock today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board for the firefighter? Any questions from the community?
We just want to thank them. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, firefighter. We appreciate you coming out tonight and stay safe. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
Good night. Next up on the agenda, we have the Honolulu Police Department. First up, District 1, Lieutenant Segusio.
Good evening, Chair Smith and everyone in attendance. Lieutenant Seguso representing the Honolulu Police Department, District 1 Community Area Responsibility. Thank you guys for your time and patience. The information I'm going to provide to you guys is the total cases for your area. For more statistical information, you guys can go to the public website, www.honolulupd.org. And here we go with the stats. So motor vehicle thefts for the month of June were 5. Previous month was 6. Burglaries were 3. Previous was 4. Thefts were 5. Previous to that was 2. UMVs or car break-ins were 6. Previous 7. Assaults were 2. Previous 1. There were no sex assaults reported in both months. Graffiti cases were 0. Previous month was 1. And there were no drug-related arrests or offenses reported for both months as well. So total cost for service was $598 compared to the previous month, $592. Calls for service remain about the same from the previous month. So, and I checked if for any robberies, and there were none reported for your area in June, and no criminal breaches as well. I checked in with Officer Wynn and how he was his speed traffic enforcement post program on Poly Highway was doing. He related that he continues to issue speeding citations for the northbound lanes of Poly Highway. He also related that he's gone to court in the recent past for about 10 people attempting to contest the citations and fines. The safety tip of the month of July regarding checking your back seats of your vehicles. It's kind of chiming in or with HFD relating that the hot weather. With temperatures running high during the summer, we want to keep our kiki and our pets safe. Temperatures within a closed vehicle can get over to 120 degrees in several minutes if your vehicle is parked in direct sunlight. With people rushing and having things to get done during the day, we may sometimes forget that we have precious cargo sleeping or resting in the back seat. Make it a conscious habit to just check so we can prevent any kinds of tragedies. Before I start taking any questions from the board, I'm going to hand over the monitor to Major Paul Okimoto.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Paul Komodo. I'm the major for District 1. I don't think I've actually came to in front of the board, the neighborhood board, to introduce myself. So I decided to come today just to say hi. I was the major here since the December of 2023. So I've been here about 8 months, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you to come up with long-term solutions to some of your neighborhood problems. Just to let you guys know, we're having a Meet the Major event this Friday at Ward Village, South Shore Market. This is by the Coffee Bean and Tea in Ward Village, from 8 in the morning till 10 a.m. So if you have any concerns or problems, or if you just want to talk story with the senior leadership of the district, I welcome you to come down and have some coffee with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this
Thank you,
time,
Major.
yeah, and at this time, I'll give back the rest of our time so that I can take any questions from the board members and the public attendees.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from the board? Paula.
Lieutenant Segusio, I asked in the last meeting, but it wasn't put in the notes regarding the speeding on the Poly Highway and whether that looking at Nuʻuanu and looking at Waimanalo, if those are the same people that are doing the speeding on Nuʻuanu in the Nuʻuanu Valley, to see if we can get some of it stopped, because they're waking us up as early as 4:30 in the morning. And like I told you before, it seems like it's when the police come back into the station. And they like to take out and go during that time, and I don't know, they got heavy metal right down to the floor. And they really are speeding and racing. Is there anything else we can do besides getting up there and getting the license plates?
I'll speak with Officer Kindle. So the bad part is that our area responsibility only extends from Poly Highway northbound all the way up to Jack Lane or Wiley Street. And it pretty much ends there, and then it becomes District 5. It's very difficult to send our officers into another district to do enforcement. But I'll speak with my counterpart, Lieutenant Hatiko, and we'll see if we can collaborate and see if we can, solve some of these problems and issues.
That'd be great if you can find out if they're the same people that are here and doing their nonsense and waking us up. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Sylvia, did you have something?
I just wanted to say that Lieutenant
Go ahead, Paula.
has been listening to us, and he has really been trying, so I want to thank him wholeheartedly in the notes with his name. I think his first name is Arnold, so if you can get that right, thank you.
Well, all I wanted to do was to make an announcement because this might be the perfect space for it. For one thing, my brother who lives on the 2700 block of Booth Road reported to me that there was a woman riding a bicycle and she had she was covered completely, including a face mask, so only you could see her eyes. Her hair was covered with a turban, so you couldn't tell what color her hair was or if she had any hair, and she was wearing dark glasses. So she was going door to door in the 2700 block of Booth Road this past week, Monday or Tuesday, this last week, Monday or Tuesday. And she was knocking on doors, telling people that, asking people if they needed help, that she wanted to work for these neighbors. But she was really suspicious because she really was covered, and it was like 80 something degrees. And, because you talk about the heat and wearing a hoodie, it's kind of strange. So we just wanted the neighbors, they each warned the neighbors around there that this was happening, that there might be somebody casing that area, the 2700 block. And the other thing, the second thing that I wanted to say is that Weed and Seed and the Chinatown Business Community Association is co-sponsoring the Hawaii Buddha Peace Festival on August the 3rd, and it will be at the Chinese Cultural Plaza. But it's sponsored by, you guys, the Weed and Seed group, and it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So everybody's invited. That's the first ever peace festival that they're having there, and there's going to be food, music, and booths and whatnot. And that's the first time that the city is allowing the community to use the Dr. Sun Yat-sen Mall, which is River Street. So everybody come on down, it's free, but it's August 3rd, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Thanks, Sylvia, for that information. So I got it down here. Woman covered, head to toe, mask, Booth Road, 2700 block. I'll pass that information on to my patrol units, and it will make some extra checks for that location. And maybe we'd ran into that person already through a field contact. I'll try to get you more information in regards to that. But with those door-to-door types of people, Just to be very suspicious of those people. If they begin to start to come around, contact 911 and then have officers respond and we'll service that call. And then in regards to that event on August 3rd, yes, Major Okimoto, we're going to be reallocating some police personnel to accommodate some of that event. So yes, please come on down, see us in action, get to meet everybody in the Chinatown community, and then we'll see you there.
And what's nice is that the Weed and Seed group, you guys are also doing the senior and youth ID. They'll be doing that all day, you know, doing the IDs. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, Sergeant Brandon Shirishi of the community policing team, fantastic person. He's got a great group of personnel. You know, it's a long list, but they will be there. They will be assisting us in that event. We'll see you there, Sylvia.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board for the lieutenant? Any questions from the community? Hearing none. Thank you as always, Lieutenant, and nice to meet you, Major, and good luck in your service. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you. Next up, we have District 5. Sir.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's Lieutenant Creighton Hatiko again with District 5. I'm one of the nighttime commanders here at the Kalihi Station. Let me give you some statistics for you guys' area. It encompasses 3 beats, 571, 572, and 573, primarily the areas around the Poly Highway. There were 3 reported burglaries in June, 8 motor vehicle thefts, which is up a tick, 11 miscellaneous thefts, 10 thefts from vehicles, 1 robbery, 1 aggravated assault, 1 sex assault reported, and 1 simple assault also reported. Total calls for service were 905, which is up a bit from 870 from the previous month. Lieutenant Sagusio always gives you guys great tips every month. So I just wanted to make you guys aware that the gypsies are back in town. So they're primarily Caucasian, European looking. And what they're doing is they're hanging out in parking lots. They're hanging out on the freeway. They're hanging out on different on-ramps and off-ramps, pretending that their car is broken down. And what they do is they'll flag people down and give them a sob story about being out of gas and that they don't have money. And what they'll do is they'll show you some kind of jewelry. It's going to be cheap, probably fake gold. And they'll tell you that for whatever money you can give them, they'll give you this valuable jewelry because they need gas money. So they'll give you that sob story. They work with females. They have children with them. So they'll do a whole spiel and they'll show you, oh, my kids are in the car dying, it's hot and all like that. And we're just trying to get home or wherever we're going. And then what happens is you give them money and basically the things that they gave you is worthless. And the story that they told you is completely bogus. What I suggest you guys do is you guys trust your instincts. Especially if they don't look local, and these guys, they definitely do not look local. If they have a kind of a foreign accent, I mean, trust your inner sense. If you feel that it's a little weird, it's okay to say, I'm sorry, I'm unable to help you. Because that's better. That's a better alternative than getting scammed. Other than that, to try and not take up so much of your guys' time, I'm going to open it up to questions and concerns from the board and from the community.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the lieutenant from the community? Paula.
Very glad to meet you. And I hope we get to see you again. Come in our area if you want to. We're in 573. Remember that number because we're trying to bring our numbers down, not up. Okay. And if you get a problem with parking, just park at my house. I'm at 50. Now, the second thing is with the gypsies, yes, don't let them hand you their baby. because they'll take all your clothes and everything that you've got in your pockets gone. They're that fast. A lot of people say they're from Romania, but they are darker skin. And if you watch them work, they are always working in 2 to 3 times. This third thing is that we've had a situation up in the upper Dowsett Highlands. I don't know if you know where that is. It's above, just know it's in the Highlands, like in Scotland. And that there's a kid driving around, probably 19, 20, 21 years old today, parking at different houses and driving slowly around. And he almost is really suspicious. But people calling me, they tell me, oh, they can't HPD, but I want to let you know that the license plate, which I can get for you later, is a person who's of Samoan descent, but I don't mean to mention that, but I have to. Driving around slowly, but parking at one house on Ka'ohinani, next to Pelikani. So we don't know who this person is, and people are all scared. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So they're not doing it, and I'm really angry that they're not doing it because I can't do everything. Okay.
Right,
And
right.
I do it on dispatch. So if you want to talk to me, you can just call me.
Okay.
Thank
Paula, for everyone, any suspicious person in the neighborhood, you guys don't have to wait until they do something wrong. If they
Right.
look like they don't belong, call
Right.
for police and we will come and we can check them out. It's not a problem.
Right.
We do it all the time. So we don't have to wait for a crime to occur. If you guys feel a little weird about somebody hanging on in the neighborhood, call and we'll come.
Correct. You guys are
Regarding all of the speeding that you mentioned, unfortunately, during those hours, we've been tasked with trying to prevent the smash and grab burglaries that's been happening in downtown and in the different storefronts. So the guys up in your guys' area have to split their attention a bit. But I'll reiterate to them that the guys are still speeding and they still have the loud vehicles, and we'll get them back up there to try and get some enforcement done. Okay.
yeah, they got their foot on the metal, so just to let you know, it's not good. Thank you. If you want
Thank
to
you.
No problem.
really watch meetings, if we ever have one, because we don't have a venue, we're more than happy to have you come. The most we can serve you is nothing, because we have nothing. Okay? The venue would have to be in a garage with 2 plugs, just to show you some of the movies and stuff that we have. And we have been doing a lot. I haven't because I got old. I've given it over to younger people who have the Chinese disease. They're all too young for me. Since they're too young, give it over. And I want you to know you're more than welcome to come and visit any of us. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
50
Thank you.
Okay,
Um,
but maybe, sorry,
Sylvia, go ahead. Sylvia.
maybe that situation I mentioned a few minutes earlier about the woman on the bicycle might probably be a gypsy because the kind of description, it kind of fits, the picture.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll let those neighbors up the street know that they might be, working our area.
You can, because the thing is, the officer can go and we can ask them for, to identify themselves. They're not obligated to answer. But a lot of times when people are up to no good, when they get any kind of police attention, they tend to leave the area. But if
Yeah.
you guys just need to call and we'll come and check them out.
Surf
Okay.
them out, surf them out, surf them out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board or the community for the lieutenant from District 5? Hearing none, thank you very much, Lieutenant. We appreciate you coming out this evening. I appreciate hearing.
Thanks,
from you.
guys. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, next up on the agenda, we have our neighborhood security report, and Paula.
I think I handled everything with Lieutenant Segusio and with our new Lieutenant
Hatiko? I think. Hatiko? I think.
I gotta learn the names.
Yes.
As bad as my name, Kura Shige. You know what I mean? Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Does anyone have any follow-ups for the neighborhood security watch, or concerns, questions from anybody?
Kind of place to me.
Okay, hearing. Before we move on, Mason, could you mute yourself, because we're getting a lot of feedback from you. Mason, I don't know if he's there. Okay. Well, moving on. Next up, we have Board of Water Supply. Do we have a representative from Board of Water Supply this
He's
morning?
here.
Oh,
He's coming.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I see you, Jimmy.
Right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jimmy Llanos. I'm representing Board of Water tonight. I'm going to go over some concerns that we had from last month. Every month, we update the board on the status of the water system improvements project in Lower Nuʻuanu. This is on Huiva. And I would like to report that there's no new updates to report this month. As of now, the project is tentatively scheduled to start in September. We're still waiting on approval, on permit approvals from Chipti. And there's no timeline as to when we will receive approvals from them at this moment. But we will keep the board apprised of new information when it comes available. Second, there was concern about the status of the main breaks that occurred last month on Alika Avenue. And I would like to report that. Oh, first of all, Audrey, I did see your email today. Thank you very much about that, concerning the main breaks on Alika Avenue. And I would like to report that a BWS contractor is scheduled to complete the final paving of Alika Avenue by mid-August, barring any unforeseen circumstances. And if the temporary patch becomes unstable before final paving begins, please let us know so we can smooth out the patch. I know in your email, Audrey, thank you very much for the pictures. I see that the road is all scratched up, so I'll let our people know that they should smooth out the road as soon as possible. And there was a question last month too on why the main breaks are increasing in the area. And I would like to report that some of the main breaks in Lower Nuʻuanu are older, while others are made from PVC material. And at the time of installation, PVC was a popular material for water mains. They were less costly, easy to install, and favored in corrosive environments such as on Oahu. But over time, micro cracks to larger cracks began to occur, resulting in main breaks. But please note that the new pipes will be replaced with ductile iron pipe, bonded dielectric coated, and cathodically protected. So now I'll move on to my main break report. We already talked about the main break on Alika Avenue, on 3148 Alika Avenue. That occurred on June 7th. That was an 8-inch diameter pipe installed in 2007. And the second one was on June 13th on 3728 Old Poly Road. That was a 6-inch diameter pipe installed in 1951. Lastly, I'll go over my general water announcements. I'm going to be talking about the 2024 annual Unthirsty plant sale. Everyone is invited to the 2024 annual Unthirsty plant sale at Halava Xeriscape Garden at 99-1268 Iwa Street on Saturday, August 3rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The 3-acre garden, a lush oasis nestled in Halava Valley's Central Park industrial area, is a live display of drought-tolerant and native plant varieties. Admission is free. Park on Iwa Street and catch a free shuttle to the garden. The plant sale is a family-friendly event that will offer the following: a variety of xeric plants by local vendors, a team of plant doctors from UH Master Gardener Program with plant care advice and information, educational booths, including rain barrel catchment information, free soil conditioner, and Cactus and Succulent Society of Hawaii display of award-winning cacti and succulents. For more information, visit www.boardofwatersupply.com. So that's the end of my report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
I think first up is Audrey. So Audrey, please go ahead.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Jimmy, I'm so happy you're ahead of me. What do you call? And I appreciate you looking at the pictures. So on the breakage on June 7th, in front of 3148. So the private vendor that will go back to repave, I hope he doesn't charge you guys change order because they did a sloppy job the first time around. So can you please watch so that you guys don't raise our water or sewer bill, please, Jimmy?
Sewer is a separate bill from water, but
I know. I'm just kind of half joking, but what I'm saying is please don't make them do a change order because they did a sloppy job and you guys should watch the vendors that do this work because I shouldn't be having to report. So if they're going to refix it by middle of August, Jimmy, that's 60 days from the breakage when you guys, I guess, admin rules says 30 days. Anyway, I'm just making a point, but I just want to thank you, Jimmy, for being on top of it. And thank you for looking at my pictures. Appreciate the report and keep going on the report. So when eventually RMY construction going to start the project, it's going to be a year already since they were, they had a, what do you call it, NTP notice to proceed. But thank you, Jimmy. Good job.
thank you, Audrey. Yeah, I appreciate the emails that you sent me and the concerns that you have. And yeah, thank you for always keeping me on my toes. I really appreciate it.
That is a very diplomatic way of stating it. So do we have any, I see Paula's hand up. So go ahead, Paula.
Jimmy, I calling you by first name, but I don't know your whole name. Sorry. I wanted to tell you that the men that came later to clean up Wood Street was strange that the person answering the phone at Board of Water Supply said, "How did you get mud on your street when that happened on Alika?" And I said, "Well, I think water runs downhill and it carries the mud with it." And so he wasn't very happy with me, but I called 3 times and I asked 3 times to please come over to Wood Street at 50 and please clean up the street so we don't keep driving it in and out on our property. And they did. The men came. They were really gracious and very nice. So thank the men that are cleaning up the mess and tell the vendors they better get their jobs straight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paula.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Jimmy.
Are there any other questions from the boards or comments? Anyone from the community? Hearing nothing further, thank you very much, Jimmy. We appreciate your report.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Next up on the agenda, we have our filling of vacancies. We have 2 vacancies around Punch Bowl. If anyone would be interested in serving, we can find out if you qualify and if your residency qualifies. But is anybody interested in serving on the board that is located around that area? Hearing no interest, we can move on. Next up, we have our report from our non-board events. And first up, we have OPA, or OPA MPO, Reggie. Oh, you're muted, Reggie.
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The Oahu MPO report was, our meeting was held on July 3rd, and it's the start of a new fiscal year for everybody in the city side. And they didn't have too much to report, but they did have Malia Harunaga, who gave a presentation on e-bikes. So if you'd like to take a look at that presentation or any of the agendas and reports, or especially for that meeting, I put the link in the chat, so please feel free to take a look at that. And if you're interested in looking at past meetings, I can send you the link for that as well. And my apologies to Sylvia and Paula. It was in the back of my mind to give you a call to talk about transportation projects. So I see that Sylvia, there's a contact number for you that's listed on our neighborhood board website. So I'll give you a call. And then Paula, I'll have to ask Sylvia how to get in contact with you because there's no contact information. But we can talk about transportation projects that I can take a look or keep an eye out for on the Oahu MPO listing of projects. And if anyone else would like to track or find out or have concerns about any of the transportation projects in your area, sub-districts, let me know. But that concludes my report for this month.
Thank you. Before we move to questions, let me just comment that I did send in the application with a cover letter probably the end of June, around the beginning of July. So they may have not received it, but they should have received it shortly thereafter. So I haven't heard back. So just so you know. Do we have any questions? Paula?
I know we missed calls of each other because I have a secret phone number. Really, not really, but my husband is alive. He is recovered from the cancer. So I am in the phone book under Milton, so you can look me up, but you can call me anytime. I want to know what they're going to do with the poly highway as far as the disabled, because there's no room for certain people to use a wheelchair and no places to go for the blind. So they have to go in the road or into the highway or into the poly highway or whatever you want to call it, speedway, and to get around a post, around a hydrant, around, and if you go right to St. Stephen's Church between Nichiren and that street going in, which they are still arguing about who owns that street. They say it's that people own the street, but there's a pole right there. There's no place for a wheelchair even to get up to church at St. Stephen. So I want to know what they're going to do about access for the disabled. And I know George has heard this too, but I don't know what the plans are unless they start looking at it. And then somebody might sue, you know, if they can't get to where they need to go because they've already taken away our bus. And that's too much already. Thank you.
Thank you. Reggie, if you call Sylvia and or you don't get in touch with her, I can give you her number too. But also know that it would be good to reach out to Paula because she actually had pictures of a lot of the specific issues, if you recall or if you haven't seen it. So Sylvia.
All my pictures to the
Ray,
Department of State with us for the seniors.
Ray, I think you have my secret number too. So
Yeah, you can just call me if
so
you need
or
numbers.
you know, but
Okay, great.
you can reach me because now that I got my driver's license back and I've been traveling the roads, what Paula just said, you know, she just noticed the ones on Poly Highway and really in our district because just 2 weeks ago, I said to my friend who was driving and I was a passenger and we were going down Ala Moana Boulevard. And if you ever looked at Ala Moana Boulevard on the Mauka side of Ala Moana, the light poles are all in the middle of the sidewalk.
Got that right. Got that right.
Right? It's all in the middle of the side. And so now I notice all of these light poles, beautiful light poles, they put the old-fashioned type, but they're in the middle of the sidewalk. And I said, how are wheelchairs? And, you know, and I said, and here you made all these ramps for the wheelchairs. I mean, it just didn't make sense what was happening in this city. So, by all means, call me and thank you very much for remembering.
And Benjamin, they're not looking.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or concerns or comments regarding from anybody regarding the Oahu MPO? Hearing none. Thank you, Reggie, for your service as always. It's very very good information. I think we all appreciate it very much. So thank you. Next up, we have Adrian with the Papakolea Community Report. I don't know that Adrian's here. I see Megan. I don't know if Megan, you want to say anything in her stead, but do you? Okay, not hearing a rush. We're move on. So next up, we have our community concerns. Does anybody from the community wish to express a concern at this time? Hearing, oh, well, Paula, go ahead.
I don't want to keep hitting at everybody, but I wish the city would think about putting a light in at Wood Street. City, even though it's a state highway, before someone gets killed, someone is going to get killed over there.
Okay, yeah, and we do have George coming up from DOT, so that would, yeah, let's that would be a very good question to ask him. So let's wait till his report and bring that up then. Okay, thank you. Are there any other community concerns that anyone wishes to bring up that's not on our agenda, for items not on our agenda? Hearing none, we can move on to our elected officials report. So first up, we have the mayor's report, Director Hishiro. Is Director Hishiro on this evening? Oh,
Patrick,
please. Yes, please.
we just skipped over the community concerns.
Well, I said residents and community concerns. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. Okay,
Sorry,
go
Director,
ahead.
just for 1 second. Yeah, I didn't actually, I think, say community concerns, but it was the same thing. But did we, so in light of that, did I skip someone that wanted to speak? And if so, please go ahead.
Nothing on our side.
Okay, okay. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. I kind of meant that as one item, but okay. So, Director, please go ahead with your report. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. So again, I'll put the mayor's newsletter link in the chat after my report. But highlights include that FestPac, the world's largest cultural gathering of the Pacific Island nations, came to Honolulu, and I'm sure most of you heard about that in the media. Also, with eyes on future recreational uses, the city takes over ownership of 14 acres of former Navy land in Kalailoa. The city also opened a new facility to help homeless individuals suffering from wounds or illnesses to get off the streets. Mayor Blangiardi and city officials kicked off a project to install a canopy of thousands of solar panels atop the Blaisdell Center parking structure. And lastly, Skyline, the city's rail transit system, celebrated its first year in operation and welcomed on board its 1 millionth rider. The Parks Department is still looking for staff to help with summer fun programs. I realize that most of the fun programs are going to be ending soon, and school will be, public school will be resuming, I believe, in early August. But they are still looking for assistance, and if anyone is interested or knows of anyone who is interested, I'll also put the link in the chat. Moving on to follow up on issues that were raised last meeting regarding a parade in Waikiki and the congestion that was caused by multiple parades on the same day in the same area on Kalia Road during June 8th, the weekend of June 8th and 9th. DTS was contacted and they have referred the complaint about traffic along Kalia Road during the Pan Pacific Festival Parade and the Kamehameha Day Parade to HDOT. HDOT manages and operates the traffic signals along Ala Moana Boulevard, and HDOT responded that they will be responding directly to the board regarding this concern. I'm not sure if they're going to cover that tonight or if that will be forthcoming. And that's actually all I had to cover, and open to any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board? for the mayor's rep. Do we have any questions from the community? Oh, very easy tonight. Oh, Sylvia, please go ahead. Sylvia, you're muted.
I really was not really that concerned with the traffic light signals there. The concern was giving permit and not having maybe the police department or somebody redirect traffic. And that would have solved a lot of the problems. It wasn't the stoplights. It was the traffic needed to be redirected.
Okay.
Okay, I can clarify that.
Thank you. Paula?
We have a sign right near where the house was burned down on Kama'aina, where the sign has blown away and it's coming down a steep hill that makes a corner and then comes back down Kama'aina. The whole sign, I think, blew away, so the residents there are worried about it. So we're wondering if somebody could check it, what the sign is and how it's I think the front of the sign is gone, but the back of the sign is still there.
Is this the street sign, Paula? Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
not street sign, it's stop sign, like,
Oh, stop sign.
yeah. No,
Okay, on the corner of Kama'aina and do you have a cross street?
it's Kama'aina and Kama'aina, what's the one going up the mountain? I think the wind blew it away. Let's see. Oh, how come I can't remember? I'm getting old. Let's see.
Yeah, did you say comment away or something earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those situations where the names differ because they cross.
Where somebody gets killed coming down the mountain or going up the mountain.
Yeah.
Kama'aina is kind of messed up right now because of the fire up there. Bad fire. The house is gone. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was come on a street and come on a way, as I recall from the earlier
Oh, okay.
conversation.
Something
So hopefully.
like that. I keep getting all these phone calls, but because I'm getting old, I can't remember exactly. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I'll relay that.
Yeah, you can call me back when you have time if I get more information back, because people just today everybody was like, we need to tell you this, we need to tell you that, we got to do this, we got to do that, and then me, I broke my back, so I'm like, okay, let me get this, and then sometimes I forget half of it. So
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments for the mayor's rep from the board or the community?
thank you for your help.
So
Welcome.
hearing none, thank you very much. Thank you for Kim for
Need
coming
a
out.
autograph for our bulletin board.
Welcome. Paula, what I can do is, since this was quite a bad fire and it's should be not difficult to pinpoint, I'll try to look up the street names and identify the stop sign that you're referring to. And if I have any follow-up questions, I'll contact you.
Yeah, I have the number of the lady that called me today because she's kind of upset about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would be good to get. Would you be able to provide that to me?
Yeah, if you call me, I can get it by tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, she called me today at 4:00, so you gotta fix this sign, and everything's blown around from the fire, and blah, 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 blah. So we got
Okay.
things done, you know what I mean? So once we get your autograph, then we'll know how to hunt you down.
Okay. I will follow up with Paula.
No, thank you. My number is in the phone book.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So hearing nothing further, thank you very much, Director Ishiro. We appreciate you coming out this evening. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So next up, we have, I think, Lisa Leonardo from Councilmember Tyler DeSoto's Tam's office. Lisa?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
All right. I'm just gonna make it kind of short and sweet. Last time I reported on a meeting that we were gonna have in September regarding the primary urban center development plan. That is actually a special committee on planning and economy that is headed by Chair Esther Kiaina. So this is a meeting that will be in our district. It will be September 23rd at 6 p.m. at the Nuʻuanu Middle School. So if you all could plan and have comments or suggestions for that meeting. And then second of all, just reminding everybody that council member has a monthly newsletter for information on actions that are happening in his district. And I'll be putting that link in the chat. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Council member may be in person. I believe he's in Kapalamahale right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't really catch that last part. You said Councilmember what?
I believe he's there in person.
Oh,
My outing.
I see him online. Oh, yes.
In addition to Lisa's mention of the primary urban center development plan meeting on September 23rd, Chair, I will get in touch with you because as we discussed when we went through the Route 4 change, these plans are really important for the city's just future planning efforts. And I think for everybody that wants to ensure that every person in urban Honolulu has access to transit, this would be a great place to put a mention of that so that future planning decisions are based on that basic principle. I also want to make one other mention. We've gotten a number of complaints about illegal Airbnb operations in Nuʻuanu Valley. There's two in particular that we've been tracking and working on and gotten Airbnb and VRBO to take down. One is at 2960 Pali Highway and the other is on Kaohinani Drive, both of which were taken down at one point. They've popped back up. And so we're working with the platforms as well as DPP to take them down and to fine the owners. The owners, of course, find every way to get around having their listings pulled. But yeah, 2960 Pali Highway and 3169 Kaohinani Drive. Both of them are operating illegally and have been fairly persistent in doing so. So we're trying to pull those down.
Thank you. Are there any questions? And I see Paula's hand up, so please.
I want to make sure that you got the message about emptying the backside of Puiva Road down into the lake to get rid of all the stuff that's in there since you did the top part, which was good for you folks to do for me. And the bottom part where the trees are before we have another flood. As soon as you go over the bridge and you look down, there's trees. The second thing is that as far as 2960, that has been not a periodic, it's been for years a problem because I used to take care of that house before the owners died. The man died in my house in hospice. So I want you to know that they're playing all the games they can, but they're also going in the back of the street off Country Club Road and parking their cars back there and then walking in with their suitcases. And this has been a continuous problem and all the people in the area don't know what to do already. But if you can get it stopped, that'd be great. I don't know about Kaohinani because I know there's one on Kaohinani that's owned by somebody that is local here. But 2960 has been a years going on. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
no, thank you. We haven't forgotten about the lower part of Puiva. It is dependent on DFM's ability to go in there and clear it out and their equipment. As for 2960, that's good intel about them parking on Country Club Road. Part of going after the owners is stopping the their stream of customers and making the customers know that this is going on.
Yeah, I can tell you the name of the people because I was involved when the man died.
Oh.
Because
Thanks,
he
Paula.
died. Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. Sylvia.
Oh, Lisa, what about the dog park situation?
The dog
know
park
that-
is on the agenda and we will cover that at that time, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Oh, no worries, no worries. But yeah, so I don't I will let you know that I emailed the council member and said that the board made a decision that we did not want Booth Park added to make it suitable for a dog park. And from what his response said, he was very much in agreement. I think, unless I'm misquoting you, Tyler.
No, that's correct. And of course, we'll get there. But I'll say for now, again, this was an exercise in asking every neighborhood board that I have, all 7 of them, to consider all parks and let me know. So we're not just doing it sort of episodically, but let's do a full review and then take all that feedback back.
No,
Yes or no, whatever the case may be.
No, that's great, and we appreciate that. I think that's a very good idea. So we're going to cover that as a board, and if you aren't able to be here at that time, I'll certainly let you know what the discussion entailed, what we decide. Thank you. So, are there any other questions for the council member? Any from the community or anyone? Anyone? Hearing none. Thank you very much for coming out, council member. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so next up on the agenda, we have Governor Green's representative. I see Will.
Hi, Chair.
Will?
Yes, hi. Hi, Chair. I'll just, William New, Governor's representative. Just wanted to introduce myself again. As some of you guys may know or may not know, my day job is at the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. So also joining me today are my 2 new team members. You guys may have met Ashton. She's been here for a couple months, but Kayla Setzer is also there in person. They're my colleagues here at the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. But actually, we'll turn it over to them to kind of present the governor's report today.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the introduction, Will. I have been on several of these meetings at this point. So again, thank you all for your time. Excited to introduce Kayla. You'll probably be seeing a lot more of her as well. But protocol, I sent the governor's newsletter into the chat. Take a look. Just as Kim was talking about earlier, Best Pack is featured a ton in it. It was just a really great opportunity for Hawaii, a very historic event. So there's some great highlights in there. And then also throughout the newsletter, there's some more feel good with commencement ceremonies that have happened throughout the summer on Maui and Molokai. And then also some information on some bills that were passed in order to help improve the cost of living. I also posted in the chat a link to a press release that went out. The Department of Ag has opened a micro grant program for small scale agriculture. This is the 4th year that we're doing it, or that the governor's doing it, but it provides support for small scale gardening, livestock, that sort of thing. The registration for it closes August 12th though. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, I really recommend taking a look. But that's it. If you have any questions, we're all ears.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Paula, please go ahead.
You're part of the governor's representatives. I want to know what you're going to do about the brown Hawaiian ducks that are now settling in Nuʻuanu and interbreeding with the mallards. If you are part of the governor's thing to save the animals, I want you to take a look at what's going on, because 3 months ago, up till 3 months ago, we lost 11 ducks with speeding in Nuʻuanu. I want to know if DLNR, and maybe that'd be the state, DLNR is doing anything to save these animals and not just killing the mallards who are interbreeding with the brown Hawaiian duck. What is going on with it? We're putting up with them and happy with them, but they're also killing the chicken. Their speeding are so bad that they're even killing the birds on the street. And they just killed a chicken in front of my house 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They left nothing but mangled. And so these poor ducks, if they're going to be living in the area, I think they should be having some protection. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Paula. I'll take that back and see what I can find out for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or concerns from the board for the governor's representatives? Are there any questions from the community or concerns? Hearing none, thank you. So can I just ask, so is William going to continue as the governor's representative or one of, is someone else going to take over? Or? I'm just curious.
Yes, Chair. I'm sorry, Ash, I can jump in. Yeah, Chair, you can still also be primary on for the Nuʻuanu Neighborhood Board. Our team also takes care of the all of Monocaca Neighborhood Board, your neighbors. But please feel free to email me directly along with the team, any inquiries from yourself or from the board, the neighborhood assistant. But we'll kind of rotate and take care of it interchangeably between the three of us.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you, ladies, for coming out. And thank you, William, for coming out and joining us this evening. Next up, we have Senator Rhodes's report, and I see Glenn here. So, Glenn?
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Glenn Young for Senator Rhodes. We submitted our report, and I'm just going to stand on that because it's pretty short. So I'm just going to open up any questions you might have for Senator Rhodes.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the board? Paula?
I want to know what they're doing about helmets for the kids and everyone that's in the community. I even see people on bicycles that are not using the helmet bill, but we want a helmet bill for everyone, even the bikey. The bikey, I don't know if it's the safest thing in the whole world for District 5 in Salt Lake area. I noticed they're having a lot of problems with it. And so no helmet, we're gonna have a few kids killed. And then I think if they're not gonna wear helmets, that they shouldn't be paid any medical. Medical should be stopped if they're not gonna take the necessary precautions. But because we don't have a bill for the helmets, it's hard for the police to get these guys under wraps, as I would say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Paula, I'll take that to Senator Rhodes and Jesse, and we'll take a look at it, do a little research on that, and see if he wants to do anything about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, as I recall, he has submitted proposals or bills to address the issue, but they haven't gone anywhere from what I recall.
Correct.
Okay. So do we have any other questions or concerns for Senator Rhodes's representative from the board or the community? Hearing none, thank you, Glenn, for coming out this evening, and give our best to Senator Rhodes.
Will do. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Next up, we have Representative Jenna Takanuchi. I see Jenna right there, so please go ahead.
Hey everybody, good to see everybody. Oops, sorry, let me just pull up my report. Okay, so just to quickly go over some of the things I know we're waiting on that are outstanding with this board. The children's crossing signs for Nuʻuanu Elementary. Sorry, Paula, still waiting on an update, but Kelton is following up on that monthly ahead of the board meeting. Next, I think Jill and Terry were on. I'm really sorry. I have Kelton also following up with DLNR to get a copy of that report for what they used to make the assessment for the tree cutting in the Nuʻuanu stream. I'm not sure what's going on, but we do follow up monthly to kind of get that information so that we can pass a copy along to you, and we'll continue to do so until they give us a copy of that report. And then for Megan, Kakuni, and Adrian. I know I reported last month that it was really great news that DOT is going to be fixing the bridge. They did say at that time that we did the site visit that it was going to be a couple of months. I was kind of hoping, they'd be able to do it ahead of the start of the new school year. So we're following up with them as well. But if not, like hopefully, not shortly after the start of the school year so that the kids can cross safely to get to Po'oa Elementary School. Just two quick things. I did want to highlight some of the things that I kind of had talked about previously. A couple of bills were actually signed into law by the governor. I was really happy to see that. I had shared with the board about the bills in general, but just quickly, one was the bill that provided funding to the YMCA to do after-school programs for kids in high school to get mental health support. This was just like counseling to help them, teach them like coping mechanisms, like to deal with stressors, to kind of help them, give them those skills in order to be able to deal with their things and hopefully not need to get further kind of more serious assessments later. And the second was the bill that is going to allow our pharmacists to continue to just administer vaccinations in our pharmacies. I know during COVID, again, they were able to do this under a federal mandate. We had to change our laws because that federal mandate was expiring. And I think a lot of people, found it a really valuable, convenient resource to be able to just go to their pharmacy and get this done rather than, having to go back to their doctor's office or hospital. So I'm really happy that we can continue providing those services if they have a prescription or you need to go get simple vaccinations for everyone at the local pharmacies. Those are both law now. And I did want to just share, if anyone knows high school students in grades 9 through 12, DOE has been sharing that they've opened their expanding ridership to educate students in school program. That's their express program. So eligible students in grades 9 through 12 with if they're attending a homeschool within 1.5 miles, can apply to get free bus passes to kind of help with the school bus issue and some of the traffic issues that we've been seeing. I will put the link to the chat. I'll put a link to that website application process in the chat. If you know anybody, please feel free to share. And I am happy to take any questions or anything else going on.
Thank you. Are there any questions for a representative from the board or the community? Thank you. Thank you very much, Jennifer, for giving your report tonight. Thank you.
Good to see everybody. Call me anytime.
Thank you. So next up, I will ask, do we have any other elected officials or representative of those elected officials that wish to make a report? Hearing none, we can move on to our board business. As always, if we make any decisions or any discussion, it would be good to turn on your video camera if you're so technically able. With that, first up on our agenda is our follow-up with the DOT, and I see George out in the audience. I didn't know, George, if you wanted to open up with any specific follow-ups or if you want to take questions or what you want to do. So I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, actually, I'm not here to report. I'm here to introduce the guy that's going to make the reports, only because I'll be retiring at the end of the month. So Ryan Nakata is going to be doing the report for tonight. He'll questions. Ryan is the Oahu District Engineer, so he's in charge of the island of Oahu. So without any further ado, I'll give it to him. Ryan.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to meet you folks. Yeah, like George said, he's going to be heading off to retirement soon, and he gave me an update on some of the outstanding issues, concerns that the neighborhood board has. So I'd like to briefly just go over the couple of items that I have. Don't have a lot of answers tonight, but I want to let you know that I'm aware of these things, and we're going to be working through these issues and continue to be in touch with the board until we get these resolved. But just real quickly, I want to go over the 4 items that George had for me. The first one is about speeding on Pali Highway. So I guess particularly at Wood Street, it would be a concern. I think George reported in the past that, as the department decided we're going to go forward with doing a raised crosswalk at the intersection. I want to let you know that we checked with our designers. They're still in the process of starting the design, hasn't started yet. They're going to be securing funds. I guess we're in the beginning of our new fiscal year, so they're getting funds for the design. It's going to take some time to get that done, and then that design will be turned over to the district to implement and build the raised crosswalk. So looking at least several more months in the process, maybe ending part of the year or early 2025 to get that in, but that's the process of getting the raised crosswalk at Wood Street installed. And that's the measure we're going to go forward with as far as to address the speeding concerns. Our traffic designers are also looking at other measures, other things to implement, to consider different types of measures to curb speeding. So whether it's devices or visibility, rapid reflecting beacons, different types of things to consider. They're evaluating that right now. So when that comes out, I'll be able to share with you folks if any of those will pan through for the intersection. The second item George had was about the ADA standards concerns for the Poly Highway resurfacing project that Paul had referred to earlier in the meeting. So I want to let you know that we're going to have staff physically go out there and find all of these points of concerns, take the actual measurements, and we're going to make decisions on what has to be done. But that process is just getting started now. So we're going to be taking some time to go through and identify those in the field. Then I'll keep the board updated as far as what's found and what some of the measures are going to be taken. The third concern was about tall grass. It's the maintenance of the vegetation area that the board is concerned about tall grass at the bus stops that possibly homeless might be hiding out, that might be a safety issue. I want to let you know that we recently turned over the vegetation maintenance to a landscape contractor, a private contractor, and we've been monitoring them. I think they've been doing better. And prior to this, it's been our state maintenance crews, our state workers that have been doing the vegetation maintenance, and we've had struggles with that, with the crew being a lot of ground to cover with manpower issues. So we've turned this over to a private contractor, and I think they've been doing a better job. I don't see grass that's extremely tall, but we'll continue to monitor them and try to keep them on track for the vegetation maintenance. Then the fourth issue, George mentioned that we're concerned about a bridge going over a canal near School Street.
It was the
we're not aware of anything at School Street, but we've been working with Representative Takenouchi for a bridge crossing canal at Abayalimu Street. And this leads to a walking path to the backside of Poa Elementary. So DOT wanted to get involved with this effort to restore this bridge and to allow kids to get to school safely. Right now, they're jumping into the canal. There's no bridge there, and they're walking through the canal, going into the cemetery, jumping out, and getting to school. So if we restore this bridge and provide them a safe path to get to school, we want to participate in that. The only thing is that it's not within DOT jurisdiction. It's not DOT property. So, we're gonna have to work with the city as far as Abayalimu Street. And the path going to the school is through DLNR property. So we've already been in touch with DLNR, and we're ready to go, but we just can't go in there and start doing work on other people's properties. So we need to make sure we get the agreements in place with DLNR, make sure everybody's on board with what we're doing, to talk about the long-term maintenance and responsibilities. So we're working with DLNR on that. I know our representative mentioned she was hoping to see that bridge in before the start of school this year, but with that coming up pretty soon, I don't think we're going to make that deadline. But that effort is in process. We're working with DLNR to get everything in place, and then our crews and contractor, they're ready to go, and build this bridge and improve the path. So we'll be reporting on status of that effort. So that's all I had for those 4 issues.
Thank you. Before we move to the board, let me let Jenna chime in here.
I just wanted to say that if you need any help with the work trying to get the access with DLNR, I'm happy to do so. They they long let me know before I even reached out to DOT that they were happy to kind of let another state department come in. So if there's any issues that arise, happy to kind of get re-involved with that in any way I can, if that would be helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we've already been in touch with DLNR and they're willing to help us. So that it's just a process we have to go through to get the agreements in place. But so far, we're in touch, so it's good.
Thank you. I will let you know that so Paula did go out and document a number of the ADA concerns. I don't know if you wanted to see those before your folks go out or you want to give them a blank slate. But if you do, I'm sure she can provide all that information so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but it's up to you. So just so you know.
Yeah, Paula, that would be really helpful. So if I'll try and get in touch with you, and I'd like to see the information you have. That would make it a lot easier for us to identify.
Yeah, because you had pictures. So thank you. With that, are there any questions or comments from the board? Paula, go ahead, please.
I don't know you, but we probably will get to be pretty good friends if we keep seeing you. I know George is leaving, too bad, but we don't want a hump over there at Wood Street. We want a light. And the reason being is we're not going to put up with houses getting cracks in the cement like did at the other end of down by Ahi Pu'u, I think it was Ahi, down by Queen Emma. The house is actually cracked. And they keep coming up with Mr. Sniffin's idea that everything needs a hump. And if you're going to put a hump, then you need to put a hole at the bottom of the hump so the car goes inside the hole. The speeding is out of control. And we've had that happening up above near Wakanaka. And they just go through it and go right through the light. So you're going to tell me that's going to work? No way it's not going to work. And I'll tell you that right now. And if we get anybody killed at that corner because you won't put in a light or some kind of light system, I am going to be furious if I still am alive. Now, I want you to know that number one, I disagree with. Number two, I forget what it was now.
It was the ADA issues on the sidewalks.
ADA issues. I turned it into the department. Oh, you know how many years ago? 2 years ago, last year, for everything on the whole Poly Highway. And anybody in a wheelchair, anybody blind, they're not going to be able to suffice on the Poly Highway. We're supposed to be in a community, not
Well-
sitting and looking at each other from a wheelchair.
Well, Paula,
Sure,
there was a commitment to review those, and we suggested to get the information you put together so that they have all the current.
It's all with Phil Anu, with Department of Aging department. I stayed within the Department of Health because he was willing to help me. So all those pictures are available. And I don't know what they might have done because you got visioning and you got complete streets and you got this and you got that. But don't mix it all up with the department out on the highway. And number three was cutting down the grass. If you're gonna look at Wakanaka. We got wild pigs coming out. We got homeless over there. So if they come out from the other side of the road and they go down to catch the bus at Wood Street, you can't do it right at Wakanaka. You got to go down all the way to Wood Street just to catch the bus. And they took our bus away, so you need to know that. And I'm going to ask for take away some of my taxes because I have no way to get downtown because I got to cross 6 lanes. So you poor man listening to these women, but that's the truth. Nobody should get killed on the poly. And if they do, God forgive you folks, because you didn't listen to any of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments or concerns from the board?
And George will miss you.
Yes. And do we have
Thanks,
any
Bob.
questions or comments or concerns from the community? Hearing none. Yeah, I will follow up. Thank you, George, for your service. And, you know, I know we used to come out in years past too. So thank you very much. We appreciate all the efforts and we wish you luck in your retirement and well deserved. But thank you. And we welcome Ryan as our new contact and we hope we have a good relationship going forward. So thank you very much for coming out this evening and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up on our agenda is our new session organizing issues, and very quickly, mostly those would entail, we have typically take 2 recesses per year. We meet 10 times a year. You're required to meet 9 times a year. We typically, in the past, we've taken, and I can't find where I wrote that down, but I think it was August
and December.
And December. Yes. So is that?
And then last year, this past session, we also took March.
Yeah, I think something came up, but I think we didn't take August because we had some pressing items, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
But anyway, does anyone have any ideas? Does that sound fine? Because we can do 3 or we can do less. We could meet every month. It's certainly up to the board. So do I hear a motion to say do August and December?
Well,
Yes, Sylvia.
This year, I really want to see October, that we recess October. Maybe October and December. Even though it's a month, you know, there's a skipping a month. And it's only because of selfish reasons.
Okay, well, do you want to, just to get the discussion going, do you want to put that in the form of a motion, please? Just say so moved, if that's what you want. Sylvia?
I'm willing to go 3 months, if 3 times, if, you know, if nothing's really going to happen, but I sort of don't want to take off during legislative session time. That's the only thing, is because there's things that come up that we might want to, you know, put on the agenda when our legislators are in session.
Okay, at the end, we just need a proposal. So someone needs to propose something. If you want to suggest October and December, so be it. If you want a 3rd time, please go ahead. But that, you know, with the legislative calendar going through possibly even June, that might be kind of tough. So let someone else have a chime in. So Mike, I see your hand. So if you have
Why
an
don't we
idea.
just get this motion moved here? I move
Okay.
that we recess 3 times this year in August, October, and December.
Second.
Okay, I heard it's Kathy second.
No,
Now we can move on to discussion.
I was going to make a motion, different motion. Sorry.
Oh, well, Mike did make the first motion. So is there a second to the motion to recess?
Second, Mike. Yeah,
Okay.
I second Mike's motion.
Okay, Jill or Philip, it doesn't matter. Seconded. So we can move on to discussion. Does anyone want to make a comment about it? I don't know if Kathy, you wanted to chime in. I know you want something different, so this would be the time to talk about it.
Great. I just wanted to suggest August and December. So
Okay.
it's completely different, yeah. So, but I like Mike's proposal.
Okay, so that was August, October, and December. If I got it correctly, Mike. Before I come back to you, Sylvia, does someone else want to chime in on that proposal, that motion for the 3 months? I'm sorry, it's Apollo, you said you agree. So Sylvia, did you want to say anything?
Agree.
Yeah, I agree with Mike.
Okay, so does anyone want to speak in opposition to that?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Paula.
That's too many months in between where you can't do your piece for different kinds of things. Now, like on the other side of the poly, in other communities like Nuʻuanu, Paoa, you don't have the same kind of problems we have in Nuʻuanu. And I think that 3 times is too much. Thank you. And I think we should stay with August and December. And don't put October in there.
Thank you. Do we wish does anyone wish to speak against Paula's, idea of just 2 months? So I see Sylvia's hand up.
Oh, I didn't take it down, but
Okay.
I can see Paula's point in it, but to be honest with you, I'm getting kind of tired. I'm going to, you think for some of us who have been on this thing for so long and the work that we do, you don't think that we're not out within our community. Maybe some of us don't put in the kind of time that Paula puts in, I put in, and some of us that's been putting this time in. And I just feel like coming up for the new election in 2025, I kind of feel like I need a break.
Okay. Well, my suggest is if we did approve Mike's motion, that we can opt at any time to say, hey, it's not set in stone, so we could opt to say we need to meet in August or set the meeting on October. When we meet, well, what would that be? In July of, oh my gosh, wait, July. Yeah, so anyway, so we have the motion. Does anyone wish to say any last words?
I disagree.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to recess in August, October, and December of this session, which is this coming year. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no.
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 I think I only heard 2 no's. Does anyone abstain? Do the no's want a roll call vote?
Quit.
Pardon me?
If you're gonna do that, let them quit already if they don't want to do the work.
Okay, but I think the ayes pretty clearly take it unless the no's want to demand a roll call vote.
That's too bad. That's too
Okay.
bad.
So I'm sorry, but next up is we have our meeting location. I think last year we talked about it and everybody seems pretty content to do the hybrid meetings. Getting the schools is now more difficult, as we've kind of addressed it in the past, but we can do it. We should be able to do it. I can't say back at POA, but we should be able to do it. If the majority or a good majority of the board wants to meet at a physical location, we can do that. Certainly, just so you know, we can say we're only going to meet at a physical location, or we can do it physical and online. You can't have it just online only. But our physical location will be at Kapalama Ali. So unless someone wants to make a motion to change, I'll just kind of assume that we're going forward with staying with our hybrid meetings. Sylvia.
I feel that we should stay the way that we are, using Kapalama as our base, with us being on the web.
Okay. Is there any opposition to that? So can you make a motion to that real quick, or do it just so we get it on the record?
Oh, I
You can
move
just say so
that
moved.
we remain being hybrid, having Kapalama as our base, and being on the web.
Right. Do I have a second?
Second by Reggie.
Second.
Just quick discussion. Is anyone opposed to that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Paula.
I disagree with all of this. I think you gotta have Kapalama, but I don't know why we don't have the money to go to the school and pay for it from our treasury. Now, the city and county has appropriated monies for us for neighborhood boards. So I don't know what happened to all that money that we have never spent because we're doing this WebEx.
Okay. So we do have, just so you know. Oh, sorry.
What
We
happened to the money?
can't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you. We can ask for money. So I'm saying but we need a commitment, I think a reasonable commitment, because there's no point if, say, Paula is the only person who goes in person. We sort of need a commitment from the board if we meet in the neighborhood that people are going to come out to a neighborhood meeting. So that's kind of the issue. So I don't think that we will be denied a request for reasonable rental fees. So anyway, Paula, I'm sorry, do you want to add something else?
We used to be able to meet at Paoa Park in that room. Now, as I understand it, the cockroaches and the whatevers. So what's wrong with them giving us some tables and chairs so we can meet really in a community? What happened to that money that we could get the things we need, because that's where we're supposed to be, at Paoa Park? But a lot of you folks are young. You're really young. All the Chinese disease are young, too young.
Okay, but
I want everybody to know what happened to the money.
the money is there, Paula. We just have to ask for it. But we need a commitment from a majority of the at least a sizable number from our board to make that commitment, that maybe not every time, but they will show up. I mean, there's no point to renting a place in our community if everybody's going to stay online.
We're supposed to have that as city and county property. When we were meeting there previously, and Sylvia knows that also, we were meeting there regularly. But just because there's no tables and chairs now, because the cockroaches and the termites got it, what's wrong with them giving us that place back at Paoa Park so we don't have to pay any money? That came up with Al Canopin when he got us the school, but now we can't do the school. So why can't we do Paoa Park?
Okay. I see someone's hand up at Kapalama Holly.
Yeah,
So
that's
whoever
me.
it is.
I wanted to jump in on this.
Sure.
How about we decide, like, just to remain, well, this is my suggestion, remain the same for now, and then Paula was mentioning about like a school to go to. I can bring it back to our side to see if we can do that, because it does help that you guys did recess for 3 months, so that might lower the cost for us too, you know?
Okay. So we can, what we can do, Paula, is take it under consideration. We agree to the current status, take it under consideration, and if we can work out, or I guess Rachel can look into it, because this is what we've done in the past. Look into it, come back with her report or proposal, and then we make that decision at that time.
Patrick.
Is that? Yeah. Hold on a second, Paula. So Sylvia.
The name of the location that Paula's talking about, it's Booth Park at the
Okay.
Laola Booth Pavilion.
Well,
That's where the meetings were held. But you know, that's over 20 years ago.
okay, well,
And
let's
the
not get too
community
far.
is a different community today. And actually, Paola School cafeteria was actually a very good space for us. But you know, even the rules after COVID has changed. And I believe the only reason I'm saying these things is I believe that we need to change with the times to do what we need to do our jobs. And you know, money is a consideration. But you know, just because there's funds there, I'm a paquet, and I don't believe that I need to spend the money just because the money is in the budget.
Okay, well, I will let you know that I did look into probably a couple years ago, Poe Elementary, and it was not available at all for us. But you know, there again, we can check again. So I'm sorry, Paula, go ahead.
I just want to tell you that we had that space at Paoa Park, which is Booth Park, yes. But that was our space for regular meetings, which didn't cost us anything because it was city and county. So what's wrong with us getting some chairs and tables and doing that again for free? Because that's part of city and county for us.
Yeah, it's not really an issue. I mean, it could be about the money, but let's assume that it's not. So we make the decision, and if it's outside what our budget or whatever, we don't not really budgeted anything
That's
for
our
this.
space.
Okay,
Space in Booth Park.
okay.
And
So
20
why
years,
don't I,
20
I'll ask
years
Rachel to
later.
look up, and we can make a decision in the future regarding if it has, because there are additional requirements now in terms of electricity and stuff that maybe wasn't there in the past. I don't know. So we can look up and then bring a report back and make a decision at
I
that
don't
time.
agree with that. I don't agree.
Okay, thank you. So Sylvia, did you have any last thoughts on this before we move on?
No, I think we can go back and readdress it by redoing more research
Yeah,
on
and
the
that's
whole thing. Like I said, times have really changed.
okay. So
So have I.
yeah, so we're going to do more research. Right now, I believe, as I recall, there was a motion to continue with the same hybrid status that we have now with our physical location at Kapalama Holly. All
we
those
did
in
make a
favor,
motion.
I think, didn't you make that motion or?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. And I
and
hope
we
it was
all
seconded.
agreed to leave it that way except for Paula.
Well, we just have to, we're supposed to take a
I
vote. I think
disagree
we
with
did agree.
Kapalama. I disagree with the park.
Okay, so let's just take a vote on that motion. All those in favor say yes or
Yes.
yay?
Yes.
All those
Yes.
opposed say no. Any abstentions? Okay, so we're gonna remain hybrid right now. We will come back with a report about the availability of, I'll ask to look at the school too, and the park and the school. I think there were some issues with the park before, but we'll find out. And then we can come back at that time. There were just a few little, Paula, did you want to say something one more?
Yes,
Just brief.
that's pathetic. They don't want to have 3 meetings when they could have 2. Then they don't want to acknowledge the fact that we need a place to meet. And that's terrible.
Okay.
Why are people on the neighborhood board if they're not going to meet? God's sake.
Okay. There are a few little issues I just want to remind people of, and I brought this up last year, and that is we do need to, and I can say this a lot, during our business, we need to use our video when we conduct business. Obviously, if you're technically limited, have a bad connection or just a limited connection, you can't do it, so be it. But we are required by Sunshine Law so that the community can see us when we debate and make decisions. Next off, please know that, as I've said last year, I run the meeting a little bit more casually. We use first names. There are certain boards that say member, whatever, member alum, so to speak. If anyone wants to do that, let me know and we can talk about it. But I think everybody's okay with it. So that's how we're continuing unless anyone has a problem. We do not, one last thing is, we don't really strictly follow Robert's rules because, I think we are much more casual and it seems to work out okay. If anyone has an issue with that, please let me know. But I just wanted, that's kind of the general thoughts. And with that, I think, does anyone want to say anything about the forthcoming year before we move on? Okay, so next up on our agenda, sorry, I'm trying to read it. The dog parks. I hope everybody got a chance to look at the list of dog parks, and if you have any thoughts, please be aware that as I recall, the council member wanted just some response by August 15th. If the board collectively wants to make advise anything as a board, we need to do it tonight. But if not, you're still welcome to talk to the council member yourself and make that suggestion, and certainly anybody from the community also. I hope everyone had a chance to review the list. We talked about that last month. If anyone has any thoughts, this would be the time to bring it up. Does anyone have any thoughts about dog parks? Paula?
We've gone through this in Nuʻuanu, and I do think that everyone should be notified around the park, anyone living next to the park, that this is going to go on. However, with the police, they're not giving tickets for people letting their dogs run loose in Nuʻuanu Park. This we've gone through, but the people around the park, one person stopped it at Nuʻuanu Park. And one person continued to go against everyone. So I can see everybody's getting bored with me, but that's the truth. His name was Mike Ellis, and he stopped everything. Thank you.
Okay, just to clarify, what do you mean he was going against you? He wanted a dog or he did not want the dogs?
He did not.
Okay.
He did not. He went right to the park people and said no.
Well, this is an opportunity for the community to come together, and if this board, a majority of this board wanted to say, we think there should be dogs, then we make that, it's a recommendation, but we can, so.
I don't think we should say they can or they can't. Somebody has to go around the park and ask people what they think, because they're gonna have to live with it, not us. As a board, we should not be making decisions for the whole community over there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sylvia, did you want to say something?
Yes. Now I'm looking for my list again. But anyway, my thoughts on this is that we should make a decision as a board. And when I looked at that list, I said to myself, I know that Nuʻuanu Valley Park, there was opposition. And Booth Park, no way. And we already agreed with the motion that Adrian made last month, that Booth Park was not to be a dog park.
Right.
See, the thing that bothered me about this whole thing is that we need to take into consideration some of the parks that they listed on there, which was like the Kawanapō School Park, the one that's on Nuʻuanu, Paoa, and Kokini Street.
Yeah.
Now, I think those type of areas should not be a dog park for health reasons, and it's an area that the school uses for PE. That's the kids' sports field. And so I don't think that should be a dog park. And there's there's things like that. There are areas in our neighborhood that I feel should be a dog park, which is not used for any other type of facilities where Booth Park, there's a sports thing, and we just named it. The council just named it after, you know, a ping. And then there's like I said, Nuʻuanu, and
Okay.
but any school park, the parks that are adjacent to the school that is used for the school purpose, Kalawela School, and that type of places. But the one that they said that was already allowing parks is that Limo Park. And I could agree with that because it's in the middle of a housing district. And the only way you can get to it is to Olomala Lane, or the one that runs off of Lusitana Street, you know?
Okay.
And it's not used for anything. And people in that area was using for druggies, you know, was using that area. So I think places like that where we could use it as a dog park, which would not affect health reasons or anything of that sort, can be accepted. But there's a whole bunch of things on that list should not be there.
Okay, let me run down the list if people don't have it with. And Iowa Lima that is the first, and they already have an on leash regulation. Next is Booth Park. We've already settled Booth Park. Kamamalu Playground in Chinatown is listed as in our district. It's not. It's in Chinatown. It's beyond the YMCA, but whatever. So we don't need to worry about that. Kawana Naka Koa, I know I'm mangling that, is that park as Sylvia mentioned, right at the corner of Paoa and Nuʻuanu. And then there's Nuʻuanu Valley Park, which is the one by Queen Emma and Queen Emma Summer Palace that I think Paula was mentioning. So anyway, those are really only the 4 parks. So I'm sorry, there's only 3 really remaining, and that's Alima, Kuala, and Koa, and Nuʻuanu Valley Park. So I'm sorry. So I'll let I think Jill was up before Philip, and then so Jill, if you want to chime in.
What is the name of the park over by Kuakini in that back area by the stream?
Where?
I think when you Sylvia said Kuakini, I think she was mentioning Kuala Kawa Koa.
Wananakoa.
Neighborhood park. I apologize. But I mean it's sort of Kuakini comes on the other side. So you have Paoa and then Nuʻuanu and then Kuakini on the other side. So that is, as Sylvia mentioned, that is a school park too. You know, they have a baseball field. It's like a playground.
Wananakoa has the baseball field, but isn't there right in the middle of Kuakini by those apartments in that
Oh,
back
by the
area?
streams?
Yes, by the
That's not
streams.
listed on our list. I'm not sure
You're
why.
talking about Waikalulu Park.
I think so. It's right off of Kuakini in that back area by the apartments by the stream.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's not under consideration. I don't know, but
that's not in our neighborhood board. That's in number 14.
Okay. I mean, I just feel it's very important. I know I wasn't here at the other meeting when we discussed the dog parks, but there's so many dogs now that's in our neighborhood, and especially up on Pali. There's everything is sidewalks. There's no grass. So where do we take them for walks when we have dogs? And dogs are, you know, up and coming now. Everybody has them, including myself and my family. So
yeah,
I
you
think
walk
it's
it in front of your neighbor's house and use the neighbor's grass.
I know, but then nobody's happy with that. So no.
That's what happens to me and the people in my neighborhood.
It also has a little RF transmitter.
Somebody's getting their audio. I'm not sure who that is, but
So,
Philip.
And the RF signal.
Yeah, you know, the Owailimo Park is a great alternative. It's got the space. It's not part of a school, but there's one super major drawback is there's 0 parking. There's absolutely zero parking, so everybody's gonna be either parking on the street. And then you come across that, all these walking their dogs past all of these houses and kind of to what Sylvia was going to, and, you know, the dogs are gonna stop at the yard before they make their way to the. It's a great, yeah, there's literally zero parking. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you. And just to reiterate, that is actually already an on the leash park. So, okay. Does anyone want to take any action on these items as a board? And as I said, you can chime in individually to the council member. Anybody can. But does anyone want to take any action on the part of the board?
Well,
I think I would like to take some action because of the lack of dog parks that we have in our area for some of our animal lovers that we have. So I do think that the board should chime in.
Well, really, the only park that it seems, unless I think everybody kind of agreed the schools maybe weren't a good idea. So that really only leaves Nuʻuanu Valley Park over there by Queen Emma. So if you would like to make a motion that the board recommend that become a so-called dog park.
Well, what I'd like to say about that is that there are a lot of dogs that go to that park anyway, and not a lot of people are regulating that. So maybe if we make that a dog park, there will be regulations there as well.
Okay.
So I would like to motion that the board do.
The board recommend that it be
Yes.
designated dog park. I assume that we might say something like on leash, but that may be automatic anyway. I don't really know, to tell you the truth. But we could just say a dog park. Would that be what you'd want to do?
Sure.
Jill?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so we have a motion to recommend that Nuʻuanu Valley Park be designated a dog park. Do we have a second?
I disagree.
Well, do we have a second? Well, I'll second it. So we will have a discussion. So Paula, did you want to talk about?
I went through a period of time when we had neighborhood security watch going down to take care of the park, which we did regularly. The police officers came in at the time when they were doing neighborhood security watch in the bathrooms, etc. And we had 2 arrests from the police department. Mia Shiro finally retired. Okay, the man that lives behind there, he and that whole block long did not want dogs in there unless they're chained off. So if you want to put a chain all the way down the middle of the park and just to have it as a dog park, you're gonna ruin the civic looks of the area, which is supposed to be public looking at Queen Emma Summer Palace and the park in the back. And the people there just don't want to go in there and have to be picking up dog doo-doos, if you want to say dog shit, okay? Because it was that bad. So now that some of the seniors are going in there, they're telling these people to pick up their stuff. But they're letting the dogs run loose. But the people that don't want it wrote a big letter and signed it by everybody in that neighborhood that said, we don't want a dog park. And that happened when I was younger, of course. Okay.
Thank you.
Listen to me, but that's history. And I don't want to have to face anyone to that. Yes, I agreed.
Thank you.
One arrested twice for going in there, and the police were there. And I went through that. Thank you.
Thank you. Sylvia.
Paula, I think the person's name, that the neighbor that lives right next to the park, is Mike Ellis.
Yes.
who used to serve on this board. And
I don't know, I'm not that old.
but I know Mike got the neighbors all riled up about that being a dog park, and they actually signed some petition of some sort to not
Yes.
make it a dog park.
Right.
And that I remember. I remember that very well. And is Pat still on? Because I thought that Pat got a ticket for walking her dog in there.
Not Pat, no, Beverly.
Oh, Beverly was Beverly.
She got 2 tickets from the HPD and had to
Okay.
go to court twice.
Okay,
So-
well, instead of like,
I
let's
know.
go into too much history. Let's talk about here and now.
But
And does the board want to go
We're gonna
forward
do
with
that
making?
part.
Hold on, just
like I
1 second.
said, I
The board,
think
I know.
right now,
Hold on, just 1 second.
looking at the
Does
sorry,
the board going
Out and
forward?
Find
We can
out
talk.
from them exactly what they want for that whole area. That every single house needs to be gone from, do you want a park? Do you want this? Do you
No,
want-
I mean, I will say, Paula, this is just a recommendation. We're not making the decision. So they have an opportunity if people know. Anyway, does anyone else wish to chime in on this?
I'm telling you, that's the way you are. You already taking votes.
Well, we haven't taken a vote yet on this. So Sylvia, do you want to say, I mean, one last thing? Sylvia, you're muted.
Sylvia,
Sylvia, you're muted.
You guys can come.
recommendation was to only leave Limo Park as a dog park. They said that they were using it as a dog park now, and we haven't heard anybody complain about using that park as a dog park. And plus, the ideal situation is that you can't drive to the park. You have to walk to the park.
Yes.
And it's a big area. I mean, I think that area is bigger than Nuʻuanu Park.
Correct.
Okay.
So there's that, and there's little mini places that could possibly be used as a dog park. And one is at that triangle at Puwaina and Lusitana by Kamamalu Park. I mean, Market, right by Column, in that area. There's a nice area there that could be used as a dog park.
Well, that's not on our list. I don't know if that's
not
available or
on
not.
the books, but that could be an alternative if you're looking for a dog park. And other than that, they're already using our lawns when people walk their dogs every single morning and night. And a lot of times I'm from my doorway and my balcony looking out. And if they don't pick up the dog crap, I let them know
Yeah, but
that you better be carrying a bag with you to do that, to pick it up.
okay.
So
does
Pat,
anyone-
I withdraw my recommendation for Nuʻuanu Park, knowing that the history, I'm so sorry, but I just want a park in the neighborhood, in our district, that we can at least make a recommendation for dog owners to go to.
Okay, but
Plus, I used to be a dog owner, so I do know.
does anyone wish to take any action on any of the other parks? Paula,
All I can say is whatever park you chose, our group chooses, just go around to the whole neighborhood and ask each person, do you?
Paula,
want
we
a dog?
haven't. No one's offered a choice except the one we just withdrew.
Okay.
Does anyone want to make an offer another
I won't.
suggestion?
No.
So that'll be a moot point.
Right.
Okay.
My suggestion right now is not in my backyard.
Got that right.
Well, that's private property, so I'm sure it'll be okay. All right, so I don't hear any action, so we will just leave it to the individual community members. They can make their own recommendation, and I'll pass on. And I see Tyler in the background; he's on his phone, but I'll pass on that we did not come to any conclusions as to making any additional recommendations beyond Booth Park. Paula.
Ask him to go to each neighbor in the neighborhood around the park and ask them if they want a park.
Okay. Thank you. So next up on the agenda, we had a consideration of allowing other sub-districts to fill vacant district positions. I didn't write anything up on that, so if that's okay, we'll leave that on the agenda. I guess it'll be November. But so there's no, unless anyone wants to make a comment, we can move on to our approval of minutes. So hearing none, we have the June 18 minutes. Does anyone wish to make any corrections or offer any amendments? Paula.
In the police things that I said, they left out, they took out everything I said about doing, between Nuʻuanu and Waimanalo, some kind of thing so we can find out who the people are speeding. It's not in there, so I would like it to be put in. Thank you.
The only thing is, and I've heard this from the commission people, if we wish to add something, we should do it. But someone's got to write it up and make an actual offer of an amendment. So
I amend that they put something in there about what I said relating to Poly Highway and Waimanalo and the speeding that's going on in Nuʻuanu Valley down to Waimanalo.
well, it's got to be specific. I'm sorry.
That's from the Poly Highway down to Waimanalo.
Okay, so you want to add
Speeding.
there are people speeding down the Poly from Waimanalo. I'm sorry, is that
Either way, yes.
both ways is what you're saying? Or
At
okay.
4:30 in the morning,
Okay, early in the morning.
early nighttime, whatever.
Actually, we
Ridiculous.
just heard a bunch of cars go by right now that was speeding up the Pully, not even 10 minutes ago.
So Mike,
Right.
Mike, can you just write a little sentence to that effect of during the neighborhood security watch, or maybe it was the police report, I don't know where you want to put it in, that there were reports of speeders coming from Waimanalo in the early morning hours?
All kind of hours, all kind
Well,
of.
all kind of hours then.
So I mean, that's pretty specific. There's speeders all the time on the Poly. Is that really what you want put into the notes?
Change the word to racing.
Oh,
Racing.
racing early morning or racing all the time?
All the time, racing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sylvia.
Patrick, I need to abstain from these minutes because I never got my packet with my agenda or the minutes or anything as of today. I still have not received anything from the neighborhood commission office. If they mailed it 6 days ago, then I still have not received it.
Okay.
So the only reason I have the agenda at the last minute is I went online and pulled off the agenda, but the minutes, the draft minutes is not there until action is taken at this meeting. So it only went up as to last year. So I don't have anything. So I just need to abstain. Thank you.
The draft minutes are there as of this time. I don't know when they were put in the system, but they are there now. So I guess in the future, just kind of check. I know that doesn't leave a lot of time if they put it on just before the meeting, but it is on there now. So just so you know.
Okay, but I,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I never got anything from the neighborhood commission as of
Okay.
the last 6 days.
Yeah, and that happens once in a while. Obviously, if it keeps happening for anybody, reach out to Rachel just to ensure that you're still on the list. But sometimes mail is delayed, and that's one of those things. Everybody's agenda and notes or minutes should be sent out at the same time. So this is one of those things. Okay, thank you. Do we have
So
any?
anyway, so I'm serving my notice right now that Rachel, please check on whether I'm still on the list.
Well, I mean, if you got it last month, I mean, I'd assume unless she actively took you off, then it's probably just delayed mail. But okay. So, are there any additional offers of amendments to our minutes? So with the do we have any objection to adopting the minutes with the amendment offered by Paula regarding the street racing? Are there any objections to adopting the minutes as distributed with that correction? Hearing none, they will be adopted as distributed with the correction. Thank you, Paula. So that's it. Do we have any other board business? Hearing none, we can move to our announcements. And our next regular meeting is, I don't know when, because I have to look on the calendar. It will be in August, September, October. Seems like a long time. So it would be the third. Mike, I'm sorry. Did I make a mistake?
It's in September, right? I think the next meeting
Meeting
is
should
in
be in
September.
September. Correct.
Oh, yeah, okay. I missed a month there. You're right.
It's
So the
far
third week, the
away.
third Tuesday of September, sorry. So whatever date that is. Are there any additional, it's a long day. Are there any additional announcements, anybody? I know Sylvia mentioned about the festival in Chinatown, so if everybody keep that in mind and tell your neighbors and friends and whatever. Are there any additional announcements anyone wishes to make? Given none, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank
Hopefully
you for your
everybody's
patience.
happy. All right, thank you. Take care. Have a great
Right on.
evening.